Cornerback, number 5, Quincy Adams.
Got it?
And
a long weekend is just an excuse to get a long way from boring. With models up to 62 horsepower or room for 4. Go rugged, go big, go Gator.
Stop by our dealership for special offers taking place for a limited time. Get great deals and service on legendary John Deere equipment.
And welcome to the Georgia Southern Postgame Wrap-Up Show. I'm your host, Josh Aubrey, being joined as always by Matt Yogitz, the sports editor, Georgia Southern beat writer for the Statesboro Herald. Matt, we're here in Annapolis where the Navy midshipmen really put it to the Georgia Southern Eagles, 52-19. The Eagles come out, score early. Navy comes right back and scores, and you think maybe this is going to be a shootout. Well, one team, it was a shootout, scored a lot of points. Navy 52, Georgia Southern 19. Your thoughts on this game here in Annapolis?
It was the two top rushing teams in the country coming in. They combined for almost 800 rushing yards in this game, so nobody was let down in that respect. But Georgia Southern just couldn't overcome their own mistakes. They committed 3 turnovers. They had a 4th and 2 that they went for early in the second quarter and got it, but fumbled at the end of it. LA Rams beat Navy, recovered. They were able to take a 17-7 lead into the locker room, and then a couple quick scores early in the second half kind of propelled Navy to the win, and Georgia Southern, playing from behind pretty much the whole game, could never quite catch up. Matt Breida looked like Matt Breida, over 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, but everybody else really struggled against this Navy defense. And like you said, Keenan Reynolds, no problem, 6 rushing touchdowns for Navy.
Wow, I mean, it didn't really have the answer for him. It looked like at a point there in the second half, Georgia Southern defense, they didn't give up, but they sure did give up some big plays there, especially to Keenan Reynolds, as you mentioned. Navy running under center option and just putting on a clinic here this evening.
Yeah, in 1999, Oregon State's quarterback ran for 5 touchdowns. Since then, nobody's had a day like Reynolds did today for the Navy midshipmen. It was just their day. Georgia Southern, maybe a little overconfident, definitely tired after all the traveling they've done lately. And the bye week, I think, came 1 week too late this time.
Yeah, for the Eagles, it seems like when the temperature dips below 50, they have a lot of trouble because we just don't see that. It's tough to practice in that. Had a couple of turnovers. I don't know how much the weather had to do with it, but also, as you mentioned, on the road, they've struggled a little bit the past couple games. They struggled a bit at New Mexico State. They struggled a bit at Texas State, and now they're on the road once again, struggling a little bit against Navy here this evening. Let's get out and see some of the highlights from Georgia Southern and Navy. Always an impressive sight in Annapolis, Maryland, as the Georgia Southern Eagles traveling to take on Navy, looking for their 8th straight victory, but a tall task at hand, taking on the midshipmen before a crowd of over 33,000. The Eagles start out hot despite temperatures hovering around freezing for most of the game. Kevin Ellison with the first down run here. Later same drive, Ellison with the pitch to Matt Breida for another first down. And then capping the 13-play, 75-yard scoring drive, LA Ramsby from the 2, and it's 7-0 Eagles. But Navy with the answer. Keenan Reynolds caps a 10-play, 62-yard drive with the 1-yard run, and we're tied at 7-all. From there, the Navy defense goes on lockdown, even if some plays like this clothesline may have been a bit questionable. Tied at 7-1, the Middies grab a 14-7 lead on this pass from Reynolds to Jameer Tillman. The Eagles trying to respond, but on 4th and 2, LA Ramsby gets the first down yardage, but coughs up the ball. One of 3 Eagle turnovers in the game. Navy takes over and would tack on this Austin Grebe 36-yard field goal to make it 17-7. The Eagles with another chance at points, but the pass to the usually sure-handed Zach Walker dropped. We go to the half, 17-7 Navy. Second half, Coach Fritz trying to get things going for the Eagles, but Navy comes right out and scores on just 5 plays. Reynolds from 22 yards out to make it 24-7. The Eagles desperate to try and stop the bleeding Matt Breida on the long first down carry here. That drive eventually stalls, and this the kind of night it was for the Eagles. Alex Hank's field goal attempt no good, still 24-7. Navy extends their lead moments later. Reynolds from the 1, 31-7 at this point. The Eagles finally show some signs of life as Matt Breida gets outside, and he goes 36 yards down the sidelines for the touchdown, 31-13, as the extra point was no good. But just when they'd get a little momentum, here comes another turnover. The pass picked off by Quincy Adams, looking presidential on this one. That would lead to Reynolds with the 27-yard touchdown, his fourth score of the game. Unfortunately, he wasn't nearly finished. The Eagles driving again a little later, but Fabian Upshaw's pass a little short, picked off by Daniel Gonzalez, who returns this one 68 yards deep into Eagle territory before finally being knocked out of bounds. This would lead to another Reynolds touchdown, his fifth of the game. The lone bright spot for Georgia Southern continuing to be Matt Breida, who would finish with 210 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. This one good from 88 yards away. But the story of the game was Keenan Reynolds. He'd have 277 yards rushing and 6 touchdowns as Navy rolls in this one 52-19.
2013's been a great year for all of us. Got a couple things ideas. Get out of my office.
Yes. Get into TC Outdoors and get out. Hunting season's here and TC Outdoors has everything you need. TC Outdoors, Northside Drive East in Statesboro, or tc-outdoors.com. Your hunting and fishing headquarters.
After the game, we had a chance to talk with Coach Willie Fritz and some of the players about the loss here in Annapolis.
We knew it was going to be a tough game. Just coming out, we knew it was going to be physical because when this triple option team, you know you're going to run the ball, and triple option teams, they're stubborn. Even if it doesn't work, they're going to keep pounding it, and that's what they did. They just kept pounding it, and they found a way to overcome our defense. As a defense, we really struggled, but I just like how we fought. You know, we didn't just give up. We were still making plays. Offense, they still fought. I mean, at a certain point, we said the score really doesn't matter. You know, we're going out there and we're playing for our brothers and we're playing for our pride and the family and the Eagle Nation that came to the game. But just coming out, we felt prepared. We were very prepared and very coached. They just made big plays and they really capitalized on our mistakes.
We didn't play great, and a lot of the credit for that goes to Navy. They played extremely well. I thought they had a great plan defensively. You know, we had a good opening drive, and from that point in time, you know, we got a little stagnant, and they did a good job of defending the dive, the quarterback, the pitch. Very impressed with their game plan. They executed it extremely well. Offensively, you know, you got to get stops on these guys. Every stop is big, you know, because they're going to bleed that clock, and they certainly do it. And we did not play very well defensively. You know, we didn't execute, and they did. And talked all week about how we felt like a big advantage for us was turnover takeaway. We're +10, and they were -6 coming in the ball game. I think we ended up -3 in the game, and you know, each one of those is big because now they get the ball and you turn it over without you know, them stopping you if you make good decisions. You know, just all the credit goes to them though. They played very well, and you know, we didn't play real well, and a lot of that has to do with Navy. You know, we got 2 weeks to prepare. You know, obviously that helped Navy. I think they prepared for us for 2 weeks, and we got to use these 2 weeks to help us prepare. And you know, I'm just you know, gonna need a little bit of time off and regroup, and you know, play our very best ball game against Monroe. We just you know, didn't execute our game plan, and when they're running the triple option, their style, they obviously saw something to feel like they could get into condensed sets, and you know, they were doing a lot of cracking and different things with the blocking on the perimeter, and you got to fit it right. You got to have somebody on the dive, quarterback, pitch, and if you goof up on one of your fits, you're in trouble, and that happened to us on numerous occasions this evening. You know, we were throwing a lot of things at them, and I think maybe we were throwing too much at them. You know, and we might have outthunk ourselves. Huh? They've done this to a lot of teams, you know, and just got to get stops. I think some of the games they've been in this season, they've stopped themselves. There's a couple times the ball went on the ground and we didn't have anybody there to get it, you know, and that's important too. We're disappointed, you know. I was very disappointed. You know, I wanted to see us keep competing, you know, there at the end of the game, and most of the guys did a good job of that. Hadn't been in this situation before, so they weren't quite sure what to do. That, you know, to me, you know, when you start things aren't going your way, that tells a lot about me, my coaches, my players, how we're going to finish the ball game. And you know, it's a learning experience. You know, everything I go through with these guys is a learning experience, and you know, it's my job and the coaches to get them to bounce back. You know, and I'm glad that we do have a bye week this week.
If the clothes make the man, the surf shop makes him better. Find the look that's all yours. With a wide selection of only the best brands for gentlemen, it can be a very bonding experience. The surf shop at your service.
Matt, before we go, Georgia Southern going to obviously have to put this behind them. They have an extra week. I know it's tough to maybe have that extra week after a loss. You kind of want to come back and play. But still, what they have in front of them, a Sun Belt championship, if they're able to knock off UL Monroe in 2 weeks, your thoughts on where the Eagles stand right now?
Well, at this moment when we're taping this, we don't know, but Monroe plays Lafayette after this game. It was a late game. Georgia Southern might have clinched the Sun Belt title today for all we know, but we'll report on that next week. For now, Georgia Southern has a chance to be undefeated in their first year in this Sun Belt, and you've got to just flush this one down the toilet and worry about the Sun Belt schedule. You got one game left to finish perfect. Guarantee yourself a share of that Sun Belt title at least, and that's still a big deal for this program. You can't get down too much after a game like this.
The Georgia Southern Eagles still with the Sun Belt championship on the line in 2 weeks at home against Louisiana Monroe. Hopefully a good crowd will come out because, you know, in the first year, who'd have thought Georgia Southern would be playing for a Sun Belt title?
Yeah, and they've got nobody now telling them that they have a chance to go to the Peach Bowl, so they'll be focused on beating UL Monroe, which may very well be their last game of the year.
All right, well, for Matt Yogas, I'm Josh Aubrey. We thank you for joining us. Hope to see you back here in 2 weeks.